Welcome, welcome, Rick Wilson.
Hello, Molly. How was your Sunday?
Oh, just, living the dream. So Axios has this reporting,
Mm-hmm.
and it is the GOP midterm strategy written by Mark Caputo, who gets a lot of GOP information,
Indeed.
uh, that this is going to be a hate election, that
That's what they're
GOP
saying.
I'm just gonna say one last thing. Republicans admit the GOP's midterm forecast is bleak, but they're clinging to two hopes: voters' fear and loathing of the Democrats. Discuss.
This is a mighty thin reed to hang on to. In a year where the economy was great and Republicans had done something else to screw up, I might look at this strategy and go, roll the dice, give it a shot. But the economy is terrible. Republicans are freaking out because they have no economic message at all. Affordability is out the window for them. Trump is deeply unpopular. So what they're going to do is go out every day and scream communism, 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 trans, trans, trans.
Yeah.
That's pretty much a preview of the next 4 months. It's going to be fantastic.
Let's go back in history and talk about midterms for a minute.
Sure.
Like the 2018 cycle, which
Uh-huh.
was one that was very good for Democrats and very bad for Trump, is sort of one that we think about a lot. So,
Sure.
in that cycle, what would you say that the Republican strategy was?
Well, look, it was to keep recapitulating Hillary, Hillary, Hillary. It was liberal, liberal, liberal. Pelosi is too liberal. They're all descended from one guy. Okay. There's one Republican strategist from way back in the day who, ironically, was a guy who moved to Massachusetts to marry his husband named Arthur Finkelstein. And
Oh,
Arthur was a famous Republican consultant who was the inventor of the hate election strategy.
interesting.
And honestly, it wasn't stupid as a strategy when you had nothing else to distract the voters. When voters were not distracted or distractible, it became much more tenuous. The present incarnation of this strategy is going to rely on trying to go to war with Mamdani and Gavin Newsom and AOC and whoever else is on the Democratic radar screen, right?
Right.
The problem for the Republicans and for Trump is every one of those people is wildly more popular than Donald Trump.
So,
Wildly. They're not even that popular, and they're wildly more popular than Donald Trump.
say
So
more on that.
look, Trump, he has created for himself a set of polling conditions that are so brutal and so ugly because he's, spent his time on tariffs and ballrooms and yada, 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 that he's got a really tough time ahead trying to sell voters that if you just hate Mamdani enough, the economy will improve. That's a
Right.
really series of bank shots to get to what he needs politically. And I don't think it ever is going to work out the way they think in the cycle because they don't have a single thing to run on, Molly. Nothing. Even the housing bill, which they,
Right.
reluctantly did, and then they reluctantly sent it to Trump, and he didn't sign it. He put it, in a pocket veto situation and left them holding the bag. Like they can't even brag about this, about the housing bill because he hates it and he's called it stupid.
Right, and you said it didn't you say it was, Elizabeth Warren
A
bill?
nothing burger.
Right.
So the whole problem for the Republicans right now, and I don't think this goes away no matter how much people dislike the imaginary demon of communism. I don't think it goes away because Trump won't let it go away.
Right,
He
right.
he can't stop fucking up on the economy, and until you fix the economy message for Republicans, ain't nothing else matters.
I was, thinking about this unpopularity for a minute, and The Economist had a piece today about how the Iran war is America's least popular since polls began.
Yes, that is correct. Molly,
Since
this is
they even
a fun fact.
started polling. Sorry, go
Yes,
on.
this is a fun fact. When we left Vietnam and the helicopters were flying off of the roof of the embassy in absolute utter despair and defeat, approval of the Vietnam War was at 29%. approval of the Iran war right now is at 27%. And Donald Trump keeps saying, oh, well, Iran was a much longer war and this and that. That's not the case you want to be making here, champ.
Right.
This war is deeply, profoundly unpopular, not only with the usual suspects of people who don't like war, but with the Republican base itself. And he knows it, doesn't want to admit it, and they still keep hoping they're going to pull some rabbit out of the hat on this thing and somehow like squeeze a victory out of an abject failure. I am fascinated by the whole thing in that way that you're fascinated by like watching a snake eat an owl or something. It's just weird. And it's not changing. Nothing is getting better about this particular conflict at all.
So over the weekend, we saw that 2 American servicemen and maybe a
Correct.
third, 2
Yeah.
dead, 1 injured, perhaps in Jordan. We don't know the details. Earlier this week, we had the Secretary of War talking about how he's going to test everyone's testosterone. It does
Because
not.
that doesn't scan. It's just weird as shit.
It
I
doesn't. It doesn't feel like he has a real handle on what's going on here.
I am guessing you could say that Pete Hegseth is not our most qualified Secretary of Defense by any standard or measure. I think he does know one thing that's going on, and that is that Donald Trump needs distractions and needs chaos and needs crazy people more than anything right now. He really needs the nutcase fringe to find some culture war shit that they can grapple onto, because right now they're in really bad shape. This war is embarrassingly unpopular for them, and it's a military and strategic failure as well.
Yeah. But it's also made gas much more expensive.
Well, yeah, I mean, the economic downsides of everything Trump does are equivalent to the military downsides and the political downsides. If, and I say this again, Molly, if Trump was popular, if the economy was booming, this would be a much harder case to make in terms of how do you view this war? How do you look at this conflict? If people felt the way that they felt in 2018, the Democrats would still have a blowout because
Right.
Trump's net economic numbers in 2018 were very high.
Yeah.
And now he is just in a real world of hurt.
So let's talk about that because the generic for Dems has gone down. The numbers have gone down.
Sure.
And there's a school of thought. I don't subscribe to it because I think it's wrong, but there's a school of thought that the victories, the DSA victories, and the Plattner thing, that some of that has made the Democratic brand. And remember, the polling for the Democratic brand is bad. Now, what do you think about that?
So, Molly, here's my feeling on this, and I mean this should be construed by Democrats not as an approval of them doing this, but that's something they should really reconsider. Most of the Democratic Party's polling weakness, yes, Republicans hate them. That goes without saying. But Republicans forgive the Republican Party for everything.
Right.
Democrats forgive the Democratic Party for nothing.
Right.
They are always so angry, and often with good cause, okay? Often with very good cause. But if they believe that fighting this out on purity check stuff is going to be the way to beat the Republican caucus or beat the Republican coalition, I have bad news for you. That ain't it, Chief.
You want my theory of the case,
Sure.
which could very well be wrong because I am often overly optimistic. My theory of the case is that Democratic voters are mad, and they're not necessarily mad ideologically. They're mad fight versus cave. So they're mad that they're seeing they're mad that Chuck Schumer is too nice to ICE, or they're mad that they feel like it's too much business as usual. They don't, because when you talk to candidates, and I talk to a lot of candidates, I would say, like, what is the base like? And they say the base is mad. And they're not necessarily ideologically mad. They feel the Democrats, like, remember, in 2018, you could say Orange Man bad, and that was a whole gestalt. Now, voters want more than that. And I think that's a real thing. The other thing I think, and again, I can definitely be wrong here, is that one of the things when I talk to candidates, for example, they talk about, like, there aren't Trump flags there the way they were, right? There's Trump regret. People are not, and I do think, though, that at the same point, like, Democrats are just, I think they have that same kind of rage.
Democrats ought to be angry about the situation that the country is in, but they do have a very strong reflex. And again, I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying sometimes it's tactically not great to do it that way. Look, I have
Right.
my frustrations with Hakeem and with Chuck Schumer. Everyone does. I express them probably more than I ought to. Because one of the things about the Republican caucus and the Republican method of winning is that they say, okay, we're all pissed at each other. We're going to fight this out in November.
Right.
We're going to talk about this later. We're going to
Right.
talk about this when we win.
Right.
And Democrats want to fight it out right now. I observed this weekend, I was out at the Florida Democratic
Oh, yeah.
weekend in Orlando, and I observed there is a good bit of like, if we don't get everything we want now for our part of the caucus or our part of the coalition, we'll blow it up. I'm like, it's July. Well, what the fuck? It's
So
July. You got to
so
win first before you ask for what you're going to, before you issue your demands for what the coalition's going to do. It's kind of scary in some ways because Democrats they are their own worst enemy in many, many cases.
so Rick is talking about he went and spoke to the Florida Democrats. The Florida does not have its primaries until August.
Correct.
Florida and Michigan have hotly contended
And
real.
my God, if I could change that, I'd be so happy.
In Florida, though, it's gonna be David Jolly and
Yeah, it's gonna
Vindman.
be David Jolly in the governor's race. It's gonna be Alex Vindman in the Senate race.
Talk about how much money they've raised, because I
They're
think that's
raising a
really
lot.
important.
They're raising a lot. And look, Byron Donalds, the Republican pick for governor, he raised $90 million. He spent 20 of it already. And get this, Molly, the guy spent $20 million and his net approval rating is still only about 35%. There's a civil war inside the GOP right now, tearing them apart. I don't know what that is.
Over what?
Tearing them apart, and they can't stop it.
What did they tear
They
about
go round
what?
and round on it, and the Democrats have a shot in Florida for the first time in 25 years, but it is going to require everybody, pulls the oars in the boat in the same direction for a little while.
Why are the Republicans fighting?
The Republicans are fighting because Byron Donalds is a very, very flawed candidate. He's got a super dodgy background. He's got a background with financial fraud charges in it. He and his wife run a dodgy for-profit charter school they're trying to sell to private equity people, from what I was told.
Right.
Um, he was best friends with Corey Mills, the notorious
Right.
Republican congressman in the domestic abuse case. And apparently the rumor in DC is that they were running buddies with, DC. And most of all, the thing that's killing him is he gets a large amount of his campaign cash from AI for companies and data center builders. And data centers in Florida and everywhere else in the country, God, Democrats take this issue and run with it.
Yeah.
Run
People
with it.
hate data
Oh
centers.
my Lord. It's like nothing. I don't think I've ever seen an issue move this quickly into the public mind and get this unpopular this fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
he's a big data center guy. So look, Democrats have a shot here, but that tension inside the party, you do have to all get in the thing. And yes, elections are about some people win and some people don't.
Right.
And the people who don't win, if they want to storm off and sit in the corner and not vote and be angry, that just elects more Republicans.
Rick Wilson,
Yes, ma'am.
Andrew Tate,
Fashion icon Andrew Tate, I believe, is his full title.
uh, wearing capri pants and
Capri
a
pants and
and a
a
going out top that shows his
going
midriff.
out.
Bafflingly, midriff bearing Andrew Tate is going to be prosecuted by the UK.
Yes, he
Wow.
is, and
And so is his brother
it's about
Tristan.
rape and human trafficking, which I encourage people to prosecute people who are entangled with rape and human trafficking. I think that's a good thing for a country to do. Hint,
The
hint, America.
the irony here is at the end of the week, we had Todd Blanche saying he can't do anything about Epstein. We had him meeting with the Epstein victims and telling them good luck to them, basically. We
Man,
now
I think that was a political mistake of the highest conceivable order.
We now know that the New Mexico AG is unable to get the unredacted Epstein files, at least as Axios broke it on Friday. They can't get the unredacted files, so they are having trouble with their investigation. They say the
Yep.
DOJ is slowing things down and gumming up the works.
Imagine that in this administration. I'm shocked.
So
Shocked, I tell you.
So it's interesting to me, the UK that prosecuted Epstein, that made Andrew, that have prosecuted some of the people that made Andrew step down, or, is sort of become less of a royal. The UK is going after the Tate brothers, but the
Correct.
US, not so much.
The Tate brothers are particularly egregious dipshit scumbags, rapists and sex traffickers, according to charges now in the UK and in Romania, where they ran their sex trafficking ring. And honestly, Molly, this could not happen to nicer people. They were able to scoot out of it before because, according to some of the reporting, Richard Grenell went to the
Right.
Romanian government and said,
Mhm.
"Hey, these guys are good with Trump and Barron and Don Jr. They're their friends, and you better let them go." And they let him go. And look, it's not like Romania's justice system is notoriously not corrupt.
Right.
So we see now that the UK has decided, we've already gotten enough of a bloody nose over Andrew.
Right.
Let's not let this thing hang in the wind. Now, there is a lot of chit chat back and forth in the rumor mill this evening or this afternoon that some people are saying, oh, that by the time Don Jr. and Barron call Donald Trump and he's going to tell them not to extradite them and all this. I'm not sure Donald Trump wants to be the guy that doesn't extradite sex traffickers. Even he, I don't think, can
I'm
handle that politically.
I mean, Todd Blanche moved Ghislaine
Yep.
from the jail she was in to a prison camp with puppies.
Uh-huh.
He told members of the Senate on Friday or Thursday or Friday, that he had done it because there were threats against her.
The lies do not become us as a country. We know why he did it. We shouldn't pretend that his statements weren't anything but perjury.
Right.
He went down there because Donald Trump said, make sure she doesn't squeal. Promise her a pardon late in my administration. Tell her she has to wait another year and a half. And as I'm on the way out, I'll pardon her. And
I
she'll
mean,
go
we
to a
don't.
cushy
Well,
club bed until
that's
then.
our guess. That's your guess.
Yeah,
That's
of course.
Right.
But I mean, this is the Occam's razor of this incredibly corrupt administration. And there's nothing I would put past them to try to mitigate the idea that they could somehow shut Ghislaine Maxwell up. I mean,
Right.
they are highly motivated to do that.
Yeah. And it is worth pointing out that there is only one person who is in jail right now because of in the Epstein world, and it is Ghislaine.
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Rick Wilson,
Molly Jong-Fast.
will you come back?
As always.